in Sacramento, 126 to 125. Wow. What else are you going to say? Wow. 126 to 125. The Kings had a 119 to 111 lead, and they almost, all right, they almost lost it, okay? They almost lost the game, but almost doesn't count, all right? They get the job done. They get the job done. Great to have you here on the post-game show. Wow. I mean, what else can I say? Wow. Right? Is that a wow or what? A wow. An absolute wow. Man, great to have you here. What a finish. What an absolute finish. 126 to 125. And how about the offensive rebounds on the key sequence? De'Aaron Fox misses 2. Offensive rebound, Sabonis, offensive rebound. And then you kick it out to Kevin Huerter. He hits the big shot. And the Kings end up with a 126 to 125 win. Talk about dodging a big-time storm in the last 2 games. 1-point win against Denver. And then tonight, holding on, getting a big shot by Huerter, 126 to 125. How about Sabonis again? What are you going to say about Sabonis, right? The guy's unbelievable. I mean, he really is. 28 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. You know what the difference in the game was tonight? One simple statistic, and I talked about this earlier today on my Listen App show. One key stat, 3-point shooting. 8 of 32 for Utah. Not good. 25%. Sacramento, 12 of 30, 40%. That's your game. That's your ball game right there. The NBA is about one thing now and one thing only. And it's about 3-point shooting. You make your threes, you got a chance to win. You miss your threes, and you're probably going to lose. That's it. Plain and simple. Mike Conley missed a big free throw, which would have made it a 3-point game. So instead of the game being over, it would be in overtime right now. But Kevin Huerter makes the 3. That's your ball game. You know, you can break these games down however you want. It comes down to 3-point shooting. It comes down to 3-point shooting. And tonight, this game was decided by one thing and one thing only. 3-point shooting, like most every single game in the NBA. Okay? I always talk about this. We overanalyze games. And I was talking about this on my show earlier on Listen App. Alfred asked me, what were the keys to the game? I said there are no keys to an NBA game. The keys are the same on every single night. The keys to every NBA game is 3-point shooting. If you make your threes, you're probably going to win. And if you don't make your threes, you're probably going to lose. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. 126, 125. The final, we bring in Ryan in Sacktown. Wow. Talk about another nail-biter on back-to-back games, huh? 126, 125. And, you know, Fox misses a couple of shots. They get the rebounds. They kick out the Huerter. Ball game over. Pretty amazing.
Ball game over. Probably one of the loudest that I've heard Golden One Center ever. Probably top 3 moments. Hell of a 3 by Huerter. But like you said at the beginning, 3-point shooting, 40% for the Kings. Got it done.
Yeah, and the Jazz did not make their threes. And, you know, this game really should not have been that close. The Kings were up 119-111 with, under 3 minutes left. And the Jazz ended up on a run for themselves. They took the lead at 124 to 123. And then Mike Conley misses 1 of 2 from the line, which opens up the door for a 3-point shot. And, you know, the Jazz stopped the Kings, but they couldn't get the offensive rebound. And boo, Kevin Huerter, the big shot, the hero. And you and I talked about this on Listen App today, or maybe we talked about it earlier today after Sean Salisbury. And I said I really thought Kevin Huerter was the guy tonight. You know, I think I said that on Listen App too. That was a huge shot for him.
Huge shot. And you could see him building that confidence throughout the game. And he's been doing that the last couple of nights. But his mid-range opened up that 3-pointer. Because he was coming in, coming out, and big players make big plays at the ends of games. And that's what he did tonight.
We are brought to you by New Works Plumbing of Sacramento, locally owned for over 20 years. New Works has a fix for you. For your plumbing needs and repairs, just go to sacserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. Again, New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Great to have you here on the post-game stream. Grant and Ryan, 126 to 125. Kings got the big rebound when they needed to. They get the big shot from Kevin Huerter. And this would have been a brutal loss after being up 119, 111. Would have been brutal to lose this game when you had an 8-point lead with under 3 minutes left. That would have been a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, it would, especially on this homestand.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But it was a game of runs tonight, Grant.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, it was.
the Kings got up 10 points, and then all of a sudden, Jazz are on a 7-0 run. Just the Kings could not push that 10 to 14 to 16. So luckily, they got that last run and pulled out the victory.
You know, to be a top 8 team in the West, it's going to take over 41 wins. I believe that. I think to be a top 8 team, you're going to need at least 41 wins. So that would be my guess. I think it's a little bit higher this year than it was last year, but that would be my guess. So we'll see. Long way to go. The Warriors win again. They beat Portland. They're now over 500, and they've got 7 more games on this homestand. Denver beat Miami. New Orleans beat Philadelphia. Minnesota lost, which is good. Phoenix lost, which is good. The Lakers won, but that's your Western Conference scoreboard right there.
Yep, the Warriors are playing very well right now. They're we're not having to play them right now, which is good. But they definitely have some momentum going, and we'll see them down the road likely.
You believe that was a flagrant foul at the end of the first quarter? Or I think it was first quarter.
Grant, you know what? I don't know. I don't. That was a basketball play. He went
I agree.
up. How could he stop his moment? If I was teaching a 10-year-old how to do a layup, that's exactly what you teach.
Yeah. How about that last play by Murray? He could have taken that last shot, but he made the right play and found the shooter in Huerter, and Huerter's clutch, and he made the shot. So it was a great play by Murray. But, you know, the whole key in that sequence is the Kings had 3 opportunities on that, you know, Huerter being the third shot. So, you know, you got to find a way to win, and the Kings found a way to win tonight, up 119, 111, down, and it looked like, and they got the big shot. So happy New Year to all Kings fans. Happy New Year to the Kings fans.
Yeah, out with a blast, right? I'm really happy you brought up that pass because that really impressed me. 1, because it was an extremely quick pass, and 2, it showed he knew exactly what was on the clock mentally, and he got it to the right guy. Speaking of Keegan Murray, and so that was really, really well done.
I don't know what this text is about, Robert. Better effort. What was wrong with the effort tonight? I mean, what game's he watching? I didn't have a problem with the effort tonight.
No, I thought the effort was there. You know, maybe he's talking about on offense. We did get a little stagnant on offense, a little bit too much one-man game. But other than that, some straight line drives here and there. That happens every night. So nothing stood out to me.
All right. Glad to have you here, Grant Napier, Ryan in Sacktown. The Kings get a 1-point victory. It's unbelievable. The last 2 games after the beginning of this homestand was dreadful, losing to both Charlotte and Washington. Now it ends up on a bright note. You end up 2022 with a back-to-back wins, and now you hit the road at Memphis and at these same Jazz. Those are going to be 2 really hard games for Sacramento.
They are. They're going to be really hard. And you know what? The Kings need to play better than they did tonight to win either of those games going forward. Bane and obviously Morant in Memphis, they are Kings killers. So look for a heavy dose of Davion Mitchell in that game.
Hey, are we surprised that no one's watching 1140? I mean, why would we be surprised by that?
No. Yeah. What's 1140?
I mean, come on. Yeah. Oh, wow. All right, so the Kings get the win, 126 to 125. What a finish. What an absolute wild finish. How about the last 2 games? You want to talk about drama? You want to talk about everything else? All right, here's an interesting question. All right?
Okay.
Successful homestand? I would say yes, because you had your backs against the wall the last 2 nights, and either loss to either Denver without 2 starters or tonight after a 119-111 lead would have been, I don't want to say disastrous, but would have been a real issue and a real problem. Mm-hmm. So successful homestand? Yeah, not great. I mean, let's call it the way it is. We thought Sacramento would win at least 4 games on this homestand. They didn't. They won 3.
Right.
So it's not terrible, But the way it ended, Ryan, I'd have to call it successful. And you had Sabonis miss a game.
Yeah, I would call it gutsy and borderline successful. If going into that first game of the homestand, I told you you would lose those first two and Sabonis would go down with an injury, but we're still going to go 3-3. How
Yeah.
many people would say, yeah,
Yeah,
right,
they
come
didn't
on.
lose the first two. They beat the Lakers in between the first
Oh,
loss and the
excuse
second
me.
loss.
Yes,
Yeah.
2 of 3.
Yeah,
So
but I understand your point. After the Washington game, when you look at Denver twice and Utah, if you would ask the Kings fan, would you take 3-3? They would have been jumping up and down. Yes,
yep,
yes, yes. You know?
yep, absolutely. And the effort was there these last 2 nights. Don't mistake me. The effort was there. And so that's what you want to see. And hopefully they can take that on the road for the next 2.
All right, the Kings win 126-125. So great to have so many people here, not only on YouTube, but on Twitter, Periscope, and on Facebook Live. And so it is all good. I would agree that they salvaged the homestand. And you know what? When you look at the totality, I think that's fair. I think it is average. I think you just can't ignore the fact that Sacramento lost last week to Charlotte and Washington. So I think that's a fair message. I think they did salvage this homestand. I think that's a very good word to use. They did salvage it. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Again, keep your messages coming right here on the chat line. And do me a favor. This would mean a lot to us. If you like what you're seeing on the stream, please hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We would be very appreciative of that. So Kings win 126-125. They now go to 19-15 with road games coming up at Memphis and at Utah to start the new year. So you can kind of, exhale a little bit here. I think that's what you're doing as a Kings fan right now. You're exhaling a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, Grant. Especially with Sabonis injury. Who would expect when over the holiday, everybody's thinking the worst because no news comes out on him, and he comes out and plays 2 great games after missing 1. And he has not missed a beat whatsoever. I did hold my breath when he hit the floor tonight. Did you see the one where he almost hit his face?
Yep.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're going to take the face over the hand at that point. But yeah, very, very impressive.
All right, let's see where everyone's around the world tonight. We got Lithuania coming in. So, yeah, we're great. Lithuania, the first one to represent around the world. If you are watching in other parts of the world, we would love to hear from you and where you are watching it. I would think we'd be hearing from Eduardo in just a little bit from Chile, unless he is out and about on this weekend night. But all in all, the Sacramento Kings get a win, 126-125. And again, we're getting a lot of great messages on the chat line. And Sabonis, I mean, you can't really ask for more than Sabonis. And again, Jerry Reynolds said this about 6 or 7 weeks ago. He said, Sabonis is the one guy in this team you can't replace. And he's right. You can't, you just can't.
No chance. There's just a different chemistry when he is on the floor.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, greetings from Napa is not around the world, but you know what? If you're in Napa for New Year's or if you live there, then I can't get on you for that. I mean, what a great place to live. And absolutely. We got Gary checking in from La La Land. So good to have people watching in Southern California as we continue to go around the United States and around the world right here on these various platforms. We're grateful for you checking us out whenever we do these, which is most of the time. So 126-125, the Kings end 2022 on a very, very high note. And when you look at the difference between last year at this time and this year for a Kings fan, it's night and day, is it not?
Oh, it's completely different. This city is on fire right now, and we're not even halfway through the season. You were talking about it the other night. Let's not talk playoffs yet. But it's excitement. We have and I think it's because we have a good product on the floor, Grant. There's a good product, and we haven't had that in a long time.
All right, Maureen Bula is right. If you're watching in Fiji, anyone down there, we say Bula. And so happy to have everybody with us here on the stream. Again, 126-125. And I just, again, this team's finding ways to win on nights when maybe they shouldn't win. And I think you're down 119-111 tonight, or excuse me, you're up 119-111, And then boom, before you know it,
Mhm.
you're down and you're like, wow, what happened? But they found a way to win.
And that's what good teams do. They find a way to pull it out, and they find it in different places. Tonight, it was Kevin Herter, obviously. And I think part of that is in some of those lulls, we're getting good production from guys that, we see on and off the floor in terms of minutes. Trey Lyles, great example of that. Plays 19 minutes, has 8 rebounds tonight. I know he walked off hurt with the calf, but,
Yeah.
those are the things that help a team like this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people still asking about the flagrant. We didn't think it was a flagrant. They call these things so tight now, but do I think it was? No, I don't. All right. Davion is a bulldog off the bench. I mean, he
Yes.
really is. He really, really is. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. Somebody wants to know how I would have called the De'Aaron Fox dunk. I didn't watch the Kings feed, but I guarantee I would have called it better than it was called on the game tonight. That's the promise that I can guarantee you. I don't want to brag, but I guarantee you I would have.
Guaranteed, no doubt.
1 point win for Sacramento. And, watching Mitchell play on Colin Sexton, particularly in the first half, he just locked him up. Did he not?
Oh, yeah. If you could have a defender or an offensive player on skates, usually it's a defender. They didn't know what to do with the ball. He was just all over them. And as an offensive player, that's incredibly frustrating, as you know.
Oh, man. Again, so many people with their messages really appreciate all of the chat messages that we are getting. Well, thank you. I didn't mean it to be hilarious. I just wanted it to be the truth, So it's all good. And turn the sprinkler systems on. Grant is on fire. Thank you very much. I'm on fire. It's, we're getting ready for New Year's Eve tomorrow, and Kings end 2022 on a high note. So it's all good. All good.
Yes, sir.
All good. And we'll be doing this again next week after Memphis and after Utah. So it's all good. Thank you very much for your support. Really appreciate that. And it's so great that we can chat after the games right here on YouTube. Anything to nitpick out tonight? Anything that bothered you watching the game?
No, not really. Nothing that stood out. Keegan a little bit in the first half, but he in the second half really stepped it up in terms of he got some good rebounds, had that offensive putback, kept it high. But no, I thought it was pretty good overall. I mean, what about yourself, Grant? Anything?
No, I was a little disappointed. I thought they got a little bit. I didn't like some of their shot selection in the final 3 minutes when they had an 8-point lead. That I'm nitpicking there, but finding out a way to win, I can't ignore that. Can't ignore that. Thank you very much for your donation, Jose. Appreciate it. We appreciate it right here on the stream. But that would be it. I thought the Kings played well tonight. And here's what I liked. Yes, the NBA, as you pointed out, is a game of runs. But the Kings were very consistent tonight. 30, 30, 31, and 35 points. That's very consistent. I like the consistency that I saw in the team offensively. Defensively, the Kings aren't very good defensively, so I'm not looking for consistency on the defensive end. But that type of offensive production is going to win you games in the NBA on almost every night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 32 assists, 15 turnovers. I mean, you'd like 15 to be a little bit lower, but 32 assists, that's a pretty damn good number for this team.
Yeah. I don't, think that it looked like De'Aaron Fox was going to choke at the end. De'Aaron Fox has made a lot of big shots for this team. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't understand that mentality. I really don't. Choke, is that the word we're going to use on choke? I mean, seriously? I mean, the guy had 24 points and 10 assists. That we're going to use the word choke? Come on now.
Yeah, I think it's just PTSD. And speaking of 24 points and 10 assists, is that the type of stat line you think De'Aaron needs to have, or would you like to see that stat line over a 38 and 4?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the assists are very important for him. Absolutely. Definitely. 100%. I think it's a very good point. Yes, definitely.
Yep. And our boy Domas hanging around the triple-double every single night.
Every night. That's why you can't. He's the one guy on this team that you just cannot afford to lose. I mean, you cannot afford to have him on the sidelines. You just can't. You just can't.
No, you can't. Yeah, and coming into the season, we got a little taste of him last season. I did not expect him to be the type of player he is. I mean, you build your franchise around this type of player.
Well, there's no question. You do build your franchise around this type of player. All right. Yes, indeed. YouTube is where it's at. And we're also being shown live on Periscope and on Facebook Live. So we have a lot of people that are watching on those other platforms, and we're getting a huge audience, and we are grateful for that. That's why I'm asking
Yep.
anyone that's watching right now, hit the like button. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. We would really appreciate that. The Kings hold on after being up 119, 111, and then they were down, and they came back to win it thanks to a Mike Conley missed free throw on the Jazz second to last possession and a big offensive rebound twice by the Kings. Kicked it out, Murray to Kevin Huerter, and he buries the three. Huge. Absolutely huge. Huge, huge. Thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate your support, and we're very
Thanks,
happy
Steve.
that you join us here, and we're thrilled to be doing it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
It is a lot of fun. Nowhere else I'd like to be.
It is great stuff. I would agree that Rashawn Holmes is looking better. You know what? He's getting some minutes, and I think that is good to see for Rashawn. Tonight he played 11 minutes, 4 rebounds, chipped in 7 points. So, you know, those points were big because you only won by 1 point. So everybody contributed tonight.
Yeah, and he's playing with confidence, and he addressed that. I believe at shoot around either yesterday or a couple days ago, saying, you know, it's just been a mental shift, and you can see it in him. He is energized, and he's making a difference when he's on the floor.
Monk didn't have a good game tonight. I mean, he was only 2 of 7, and the Kings were able to still win, which is, you know, really, really good. So, you know, you have to factor that in. Thank you very much for the donation. Oh boy. There you go. You wanted it, you get it. You give me a donation, and Ryan, you get an oh boy. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we got Amir checking in. Amir, happy New Year to you, my friend. I really
Happy
have
New Year.
appreciated your support over all of these years, and it's great to have you here on the post-game show, Amir. And again, happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here on the post-game shows as the Kings are in the standings currently 5th. And yes, they are. And you know what? Just go out and win, and you don't have to worry about where you are in the standings. Go out and win. Now we're going to see if they can win games that are going to be. Listen, the Memphis game is going to be a really difficult game, and the game in Salt Lake, the Jazz are 12-5 at home, and you saw what the Jazz did tonight. So those are going to be 2 challenging games for Sacramento.
Very challenging indeed, but this team does seem to play pretty decent on the road and rise to the challenge a lot of times on the road. So I'm hopeful that coming off 3-3, they're able to bring 2 games home back to us. If they may give us a good start to 2023.
Yeah, I would right now in a heartbeat, you'd go, yeah, we'll take the split. I mean, you tell me the Kings are coming back 1-1. Who would not want to do that? You know, I mean, you take 1-1 right now. So, you know, Amir, real quickly on this question, I believe it's the super chat. I'm not familiar with YouTube and how people donate. I believe it's available with the instructions on YouTube. If somebody could help out Amir with a little advice via the chat line, I'll put it up so he can see it. Okay. But thank you, Amir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So, Grant, at what point does this team, because they're going to have to make that flip to where us as people watching the games and fans say, we'll take a 1-1 split, but no, we're a 2-0 team.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to take for this team to get to that?
Thank you again for the super chat donation. I think you got to be realistic. When you say what's it going to take to get to that, I think when you go on the road and you're playing teams that are very good on their home floor, which are these 2 teams coming up, I think good teams don't go 0-2. I don't think good teams necessarily go 2-0 unless you're talking about a world championship caliber team, which the Kings are not.
Right.
So I think our expectations need to change a little bit. Whereas teams that are non-playoff teams won't win either of these games this week. Okay. They would lose at Memphis and lose at Utah. So when you ask me that question, I think, and thank you very much for the donation, Donald, we appreciate it. I think the better answer is, how do you make sure you don't go 0-2? Okay. How do you go 1-1? Because 1-1 would be a very good road trip against these 2 teams. That's how I would look at it. I mean, I think you got to be realistic. That's what I think, you know? All right. I think you have to be realistic. Hang on a second. Wow. Hey, Amir, thank you very much. That is really incredible of you.
Wow.
Happy New Year, Amir. Thank you so much for that donation. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. And again, Happy New Year. Really
Happy
appreciate
New
that.
Year, Amir.
You know, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a brilliant thought. I've never thought about it that way, and I think that's a great way to look at it because they are not a championship team, and we want them to get there. But yeah, a team that should or make the playoffs can't go 0-2 on games like that.
Thank you very much. Written on the top of a Purple Heart. Well, what's better than that? Thank you, Jeff. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy year. If you want to
Great.
donate, I think they said there's a $ right next to. I missed the. I'll get it for you, Pam, because I'm all new to this and I am not an expert when it comes to this. But I believe somebody said there's a $ underneath, and you just hit that $, and you can donate. I believe that's what they said. Let me see if I can find this. Are you familiar with that, Ryan? I'm not that familiar. You know?
Not necessarily. I believe it's down. I think it's at the top of the chat where it gives you an option for super chat.
So again, you can find it. It's and we'll get some other help on the screen. But I really, again, I thank you really much. You all are incredible. And Amir, seriously, that is unbelievably generous of you. All right. So yeah, here it is right here. Somebody said all you got to do is click on the $ symbol if you want to donate. We greatly appreciate any help that you can give us. It's tremendous. All right. So here we go. It's on the right side of the chat box on the bottom. Great stuff right there. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Hey, Kings win. We're all celebrating, right? 126 to 125. And it's incredible, incredible. And Amir, you're getting a lot of love from the folks here, and deservedly so. Amir has been somebody that I've known for a long time. He reached out to me. Well, he used to call the show, and then he reached out to me, I want to say via direct message or email, and I got back to him, and we, over the years have, kept in touch and everything else. And so thank you, Amir. Again, I really appreciate it. I'm so happy that you're with us here on this stream. Thank you, Donald. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone that is helping us out here. Wow. Look at this. Robert, Super Chat, $19.99. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You guys are the best. And gals.
Wow. Thank you.
You're the best.
Look at this. Look at what you did, Amir. Thank you.
Amir,
to everybody.
You're the best. Yeah. Thank you, Amir. Really appreciate that. All right. Again, if you want to hit us up on the chat. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Liam. Happy New Year, Liam. Wow.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Liam. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. Happy New Year. Thank you. Incredible. Thank you. Thank you very much. Incredible. Wow. You know what? Maybe I will be able to go around the world and do these shows with these donations that I'm getting.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I told you. They're going to come through. That is awesome, Grant.
I guarantee you KHTK is seeing this, and they're going to see it in federal court, too, with my lawsuit. So thank you very much. Really appreciate the support. Yeah. Man, this is great. This is great. This is funny. We can get this going better than King's salary per hour. Well, Donald, I never told anybody this, okay? I had a very unique contract in the NBA. I only got paid for the wins that I announced. So I didn't make a lot of money in my 32-year career, okay? All right? So, I had a very odd contract. When the Kings lost, I didn't get paid. And for those of you that are going, wow, is Grant serious? No, I'm not serious. That's a joke. But, I was just trying to see the problem is, and thank you very much for the continued donations. Thank you very much, Pro Eric. When Ralph Lawler retired as the longtime only voice of the Clippers, okay, when he retired, I then took over as the announcer with the most losses in NBA history, okay? So I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed to see Ralph Lawler retire because I moved up the ladder. Hey, Elmo, thank you very much for your donation, and Happy New Year to you as well. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Well, you know what? You don't have to watch the game on mute, but you can do what you want. And I appreciate the love, and I appreciate the support. And, we've got so many people watching here. We have so many people watching on Twitter and on Facebook. And well, you know what? I appreciate that. I don't
Thank
support
you.
that radio station either, and I'm looking for justice. I want to be vindicated in a court of law by 12 jurors, and that is my goal. So that's why I filed suit against Bonneville International, and not to get carried off on a tangent here, but I was out last night, and somebody was not familiar with my case, and he could not believe it. And I said, if you think that's unbelievable, just look at the company that fired me. And I showed them the Bonneville International Leadership page. And I said, I'm going to scroll through their leadership. And when you see someone that does not look like me or you stop. We didn't stop. So if you ever want to see the company that fired me, just Google Bonneville International Leadership and look at their leadership page. And then tell me if that's not the most hypocritical, ridiculous thing ever. Hi, Grant. Well, hello to you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yeah, Lawler's law, law, first team to score 100 would win. Well, I don't know how accurate that was, but I'm not going to go against Ralph. Ralph was great. What a phenomenal voice for the LA Clippers. But nobody had more losses in the NBA than Ralph Lawler. I can guarantee you that.
Hey, Grant, I don't know if you're going to be able to get a fair jury here in Sacramento.
Well, I will leave that up to the attorneys and everything else. I hope I do get a fair. I'll tell you this, and I mean this, and now I'm not joking around. I'm being serious. Yeah. I hope I get a very fair and impartial jury, because all I want out of this is fairness, and I want what is right and what's wrong is wrong. I don't want any favoritism. I don't want anybody going out of the way in a court of law. What I mean by that, I want 12 independent jurors to rule on this case based on the merit of the case. And that's really what is important to me. And so that's what I'm striving for. Bernie, thank you. Unbelievable for your donation, Bernie. Wow. You people are, I don't even know what to say. Thank you, Bernie. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Man.
Looks like you got a new lucky shirt now tonight, Grant.
Yeah, it's my golf shirt from my foundation, where we put over 100 students through college, by the way, and we mentored them as well. So we mentored them beginning in 10th grade, and it was really maybe the best thing that I did in my career. And I say maybe because I did a lot of things, but I don't know if there was anything more rewarding than that. Thank you for your donation, $10 on a super sticker. We appreciate it, R. Miller, and Happy New Year to you. Greatly appreciated. But I'm serious about that, Ryan. I'm very serious about that. My foundation put over 100 students, all at need, all disadvantaged. Most every one of our students was a first generational college student, and we mentored them, and it was incredible. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm grateful that I was able to do that for almost 20 years. Hey, hello, Brisbane. It is 4 p.m. now. Well, we love to have you on the stream. Yeah. By the way, I want to be fair. I started my foundation with a gentleman by the name of Joe Namath, not the quarterback. And Joe used to run Stan Atkinson's tournament. And I had my tournament that I had started for Derek Dickey, my broadcast partner in the mid-'90s, who had a debilitating stroke and then died. And I've shared this story on both my podcast and on my Listen app. And I started a golf tournament to raise money for stroke awareness with the American Heart Association. And I was not happy with the involvement by KHDK when I was doing that golf tournament. So I stopped doing it. And then Joe came to me and said, hey, would you be interested in taking over Stan's tournament? And I said I would, but I want to make sure that the money's going to something that we both believe in. And he's the one that brought up education and the idea. And I was like, I'm all in. There's the greatest gift you can give a young person is education. And so we said, okay, we're going to do, you have to have a certain economic criteria. You have to be below that. Mm-hmm. You have to be a certain threshold. You're going to be entering our program as a sophomore in high school. Our board members are going to mentor you. We're going to make sure that you succeed. And if you don't succeed, it won't be because we didn't try. We only had, I think, 3 students in almost 20 years not make it through the program. I remember I had my student who was struggling, Raul, at Florin High School. And I actually got a contact by one of his teachers, an avid teacher. And I said, okay, I'm going to come down and talk to Raul's class. I'm going to come to talk to your class. So on a game night, I went down there, and I say a game night because I remember I was wearing my suit because I was going right from there to the arena.
Yeah.
And I talked to the Avid class of Florin High School, and the teacher said, you know what, that was so incredible, the message you gave to your students. Can you stay for my next period? I said, sure. I ended up staying for 3 more classes of hers. And after the first class, I talked to Raul. I said, hey, what's going on? And he told me that his dad had lost his job. His dad, by the way, did not speak English. He had lost his job, and it was creating a lot of problems in the home. And he was starting to, his grades were starting to go down. I said, hey, Raul,
Yeah.
I said, the greatest thing you can do for your father right now is you can excel right here in the classroom. I said to him, Raul, your dad's going through a tough time right now, but you are your dad's biggest joy and pride. And there would be no greater gift that you could give to your father than going to college and graduating, which has never happened in the history of your family. So I said, support your dad, love your dad, but the greatest gift you can give your father right now is to do well in school. Because if you think your dad is going through a tough time now, if you flunk out or you don't make it, your dad is going to take that to his grave. And I did say that to him, and he turned it around, ended up going to Sacramento State, graduated, and
Awesome.
is doing very well for himself. So, that's what I always say this, Ryan, we all have an obligation, regardless of whether I have a microphone in front of me or a camera in front of me, whether Ryan, you, or anyone else, we have an obligation to try to make our community better. All right. If we all can make our community better, everyone wins in the long run. So
Absolutely, Grant.
that was what I did. So thank you so much for again the donations on Super Chat. Amir, you got it started, buddy.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So
Cool.
it's all good.
Grant, I got to say, not only did you change their lives directly, but you probably changed future families, their lives, by having a college graduate, that gets married, has a child. They're going to get their kids to want to go to college and give them that same kick in the butt. So I can only imagine the stories you have. Do you still stay in touch with a lot of the kids that were on scholarship through you guys?
Some. I do some. Not all of them. Some of them.
Okay.
Because I had moved, I don't do my golf tournament anymore. And so I would say this. My students that I mentored, yes. One other student who was an athlete, I stay in touch with because he reaches out to me. I haven't stayed in touch with the other students, but I'm well aware of their success, and I get updates on how they're doing and what they're doing. And I'm very proud about that. So, I would tell you, it was incredible. We had every high school in the greater Sacramento area aware of our foundation. Counselors would get their students to apply. We would get thousands of applications, thousands. And the hardest thing to do, Ryan, was to narrow that down to 16.
Yeah.
And then we used to have the 16 students come in. Sac State was very nice and giving us a big room. And we would say, you can bring your loved ones, whether, most of our students were not, look at this. I got to put this up again for everybody just to see how great Amir was. Amir, you're unbelievable. Freaking unbelievable.
Wow.
It is time to roll our sleeves to our freaking neck. Amir, you're unbelievable. You really are. You're incredible. Amazing, Amir. Thank you. Like, wow. But I'll tell you something, Ryan, and I'm not over dramatizing this. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
There were times when we in the board had tears in our eyes listening to these interviews and these stories. We had one gal in particular who had her aunt raising her in the family. And again, pardon the interruption, as I want to say thank you to Joe for your donation. We can't thank you enough, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, Joe.
She would get up, at 5 a.m. every day, take her little sister, feed her breakfast, get her ready for school, accompany her to school, Then this lady, this gal, this student would get on the bus, okay, then go to school. She then, after school, would go get her sister, help her with her homework, clean, cook. She took care of the whole family. This is a 15-year-old girl that was doing this, who, by the way, was very bright. And all she needed was somebody to say, hey, you know what? Hold on to us. Here's your olive branch. Here it is.
Yep.
Grab onto it, and we're going to make sure you go through college. You know what? She ended up going to UC Davis. We had a student
Wow.
who was the valedictorian at Grant High School. She graduated in the history of the school with the highest honors and the greatest accomplishment. She's at Stanford right now. Stanford. She came and
Stanford.
talked at my golf tournament and talked about how after ninth grade, she was lost. And she found out about the Future Foundation, and she gave the most amazing speech at my golf tournament. And Stanford, okay? Stanford. Think about that for a minute. So, you know, we all we did was put out our hand. The students do all the work. They're the ones that do all the work. All I did was have a golf tournament every year to raise the money to pay our students. That's what I did. That I didn't. They're and again, I'm not patting myself on the back here. Putting on a golf tournament's a hell of a lot of work. But let me tell you something. If you can change people's lives by putting them through college, I'll work 20 hours a day on my freaking golf tournament. You know, I mean, that's nothing to me. That's not putting on a golf tournament and having food and drink and, you know, having great food and, you know, socializing. Yeah, it's a lot of work to get to that point, but the reward is our students. And that
Absolutely.
listening to the valedictorian at Grant High School represent the Future Foundation was unbelievable. It was such a great moment, and I'll never forget it.
That's chills. That's straight chills. Just listening to that. And it's not just putting them through college, Grant. It's the ride, right?
Yep.
They get the mentorship from you. It changes you and everybody else on the team, but that changes your mindset, right? It gives you something to reach for, and it gives them something to reach for that maybe they wouldn't have the opportunity to even see the tree with that branch. So kudos to you.
Well, again, you know, I don't need to thank you for the message. You know, you can go to YouTube, by the way, and go Google Grant Napier Golf, and you can look at all of the years that I have videos from all of our tournaments. So if you want to see what I used to do, seriously, go to YouTube, which you're on right now, but don't do it right now. Wait until we're done. Okay. And just go put Grant Napier Golf. All right. And so I would just say this. I'm grateful that I could be a small part of turning lives around in the greater Sacramento area. And so for those that want to criticize, and I used to say this on my radio show all the time, and I'm sorry if I sound like I'm on my soapbox, but I think this is an important message. I think this is an important message for New Year's. There are a lot of people that get on social media and complain and bitch and moan, and they don't do anything about it. They just complain, they complain, they complain. And I used to get into conversations on my radio show, arguments, if you will. People that would criticize me, you know, about, gee, I don't do anything. I'm the announcer and I'm spoiled and I have this and I have that. And I would say, you know what? What have you done for your community? And they would say, what do you mean? I go, what have you done to make your community better? And I would be met with silence because they haven't done anything to make their community better. So regardless of whether I ever live in Sacramento again, regardless of whether I ever move back to California, like I'm like so freaking proud that for that period of time when I had the ability, okay, to rally people around and get sponsors. And by the way, if you want to know how all of those students went to college, they went to college because of great sponsorships in the Sacramento area, okay, like the Sacramento Republic, co-title, you know, Coffee Building Group, co-title, the Kings putting in money every year, Bennett's donating food, Paul Martin's donating food. I can go on and on, all right? Sponsorships, okay? Lexus of Roseville putting cars out. By the way, somebody did win a car a couple of years ago on a hole-in-one.
Oh, wow.
You can't do this You can't do this without sponsorships. So I'm grateful. Phil Oates was a big sponsor of my golf tournament every year. The Jacobs, minority owners of the Kings, owners of Rancho Valencia, huge sponsors of my golf tournament every year. See, you can't do this without the community behind you. Anybody can say, hey, I'm going to have a golf tournament and I'm going to raise money. Okay, that's a great idea. How are you going to raise money?
Yep.
Think about it. How are you going to raise money? You
Yep.
can't raise money without the help of the people in the community supporting you. So I'm grateful, just like I'm grateful doing this. Think about how many people are watching us right now.
Yep.
I can't thank you enough. It's great,
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
well, I am proud, and thank you for this message, because you know what? I am proud of what I did. And I'm happy talking about what I did, because you know what? If I can inspire you to say, okay, you know what? In 2023, I'm going to make someone's life better, whether it's my neighbor, whether I volunteer at a homeless shelter, whatever the case may be. Okay. If you can just say to yourself, you know what? I am going to change one person's life in 2023, the way Sean Salisbury changed Russell's life, homeless on the side of the highway. Okay. Think about this. If you can do that, you're going to make this world a better place, and you're going to make your community a better place. Take that upon yourself. Think about that as your New Year's resolution. Change one person's life. If you can change more than one person's life, that would be great. But change it. And I am going to write a book. I don't know when. I'm waiting for my lawsuit to end. And the reason why I'm waiting for my lawsuit to end is there are going to be things in my book that stem from the lawsuit. And right now, that is a book that hasn't finished. So I need to see how everything is going to turn out. And I will tell you, and again, I'm allowed to tell you this. We've already had several depositions in my lawsuit. And I'm just going to tell you, when the depositions become public, you're going to look at this. If you're a critic of mine, or you're going to look at this a lot differently. And you're going to look at some individuals that made some comments about me that in the court of law, okay, under perjury, all right, under oath, not perjuring themselves, you're going to hear the truth, okay? And many of you are going to go, gee, I'm not really surprised when you hear the truth. But the truth is going to come out, and you're going to be able to read the depositions. You're going to be able to see the depositions for yourself. And when you do, I promise you this, you're going to have like, I'm not surprised. That's what you're going to say. You're going to say, I can't say I'm surprised. All right. I was attacked on the night of May 31st, 2020. And regardless of what happens in my lawsuit, the depositions are going to be made public. And you're going to see exactly what I've been talking about for the last 2.5 years.
Time is going to tell, Grant. I mean, the support that you have here, and the one thing that I will say as a fan and as a listener of your show, when you were here in Sacramento, your shows now, people, your podcast, they're seeing a different side of you. That's why they're asking about the book. You know, your lay fan doesn't know about the Futures Foundation. Your lay fan doesn't know about the other things that you do. You know, and the stories. I mean, your stories, my goodness. I mean, you've had numerous podcasts where people have emailed you and say, hey, could you do a podcast about this? And then you start talking about these things that we can't even imagine. And so it's been really, really cool. So you are going to have your day. I would even argue, you're kind of having your day now with this platform.
Yep. Well, I'm grateful for this platform, and I'm also grateful for those that have contributed, like Fosters and Paws, a group of animal advocates. They work primarily with dogs in shelters, and they're looking for fosters and adopters. I'm so grateful that they've been a part of this show in the month of December. fostersandpaws.org/adopt. Kings win. What a way to enter the new year. How great.
Yes,
this
sir.
would have been a really tough weekend for Kings fans if they had blown that game tonight up 119. Oh my gosh, would you look at this? Hang on, I've got to get to this. I can't believe it.
Breaking news.
Wow. Christopher?
Holy.
Wow. You know what? Thank you very much. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate your support. Christopher, Happy New Year. Wow.
Happy New Year, Christopher.
Wow.
Wow.
Amir, how about that? How about that,
Being
Amir?
here.
Amir, I appreciate you so much. Wow. Christopher, thank you so much. Everybody on the stream, thank you so much. You know what? Here we go.
Goodness.
Oh, turn their sprinkler systems on. Christopher is on fire.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, my
What
goodness.
a night. What a night. And Kings win. Kings win.
I don't think I'm going to be richer than Musk by the end of the year, but you know what? You know, we're off to a good start. Man, thank you very much. Wow, look at this. Let me read this. If you put all the super chats towards your foundation, you would get more money from me than any donations I give. Man, thank you very much.
Wow.
Greatly appreciate you and everyone else here on the stream. You know, and Robert, thank you very much for that. I greatly appreciate the support. You know, I'm very honest. You know this, Ryan. I'm very honest about what I've been through, and it hasn't been easy, but I've really enjoyed doing these type of shows. It's been a blessing for me to do podcasted. Like my year-end in review today, 2022 in review, I took some excerpts from some of the interviews that I really liked. And Ryan, you were on my podcast too this year, by the way, and so was Nando. And you all wanted to get into broadcasting, and I tried to, I'm happy that you're on. I mean, listen, if somebody had told you a year ago, Ryan, and I'll just put it out there, yeah, you're going to be doing a Kings post-game show with Grant Napier in a couple of months, you probably would have like, yeah, right. You know,
Grant, when you asked me to be on your podcast, it blew my mind, but perfect example. I wasn't going to go there, but making somebody's life better, like Grant saying, I don't get a dime for this. This is what I want to do with my future. And Grant has, I can't thank him enough, done it publicly, done it privately, but everything he's saying about what he does to make people better and things better for people is completely true. And me being here with you a year later, 22,000, 23,000 viewers just last week on this post-game show, I would have called you crazy, even though I'm very optimistic. So thank you, Grant. You changed my 2022, and all of you have as well out there.
Well,
it's a ton of fun.
You're right about this, Ryan. You are a special person for being yourself, and I would echo those sentiments. You're 100% correct. You're absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Wow. And that's right. Shout out to you, Ryan and Sackdown. You deserve a lot of shout outs because, most people always are praising me. People need to praise you too, because you're doing a hell of a job. And, people do appreciate you. And here's Amir and everyone else talking about how much they appreciate you. So thank you for that. It's not just me doing this show. It's Ryan too. And I appreciate you all giving him some love. So thank you very much. Awesome.
Thank you.
It's really good. Look at all the people now giving you shout outs, freaking great, Okay, here we go.
It's pretty damn
Someone
cool.
wants to know what's your cut. Well, Ryan and I, speaking of helping out others, we raised $16,000 by getting our head shaved. I've got to, I'm actually thinking of getting it shaved again. What do you think?
I would go for it.
All right,
Absolutely.
if the Kings win at Memphis and at Utah, I'll get my head shaved again.
Okay. All right. Mine's already short, but I'm with you.
I'm just saying.
100%.
You know what? We're going to do that. Ryan is down to earth, and that's probably the one thing I've liked about him more than anything. He is as down to earth as you can be. And so, yeah, he is down to earth. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Amazing. Wow. Amir said, Grant, I will pay you to keep your hair. Really? How much are you going to pay me? Amir, I appreciate you so much. I got to tell you, Amir, it's so great to be able to converse with you again. We've exchanged some long emails in the past, and I appreciate you. I really do. Man, what a show this has been. Wow. I just want to wrap this up by saying I really appreciate all of your support. You guys and gals have been unbelievable to me, and I cannot thank you enough for your support over the last couple of years. And someone wants to know on a scale of 1 to 10, being the highest, what are your chances of coming back into the broadcast booth? Please, we need you. You know what, Kyle? They have an announcer right now, and it is completely out of my control. So I'm being respectful in answering your message, but they have an announcer. Actually, they have two, I believe. and it's not up to me. All right, but I'll tell you what is up to me. Wishing you a happy New Year. Thanking you for all of the donations tonight. I can't even begin to tell you how much it means. And Amir, I'm so happy you're watching with your 8-year-old son. Yeah, you know what? Let me get my glasses on. I want to mispronounce the name. Shahab, thank you so much. All right, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, Shahab. I want to say your dad is a great, great man, and your dad and I have shared a lot of time together, and his support has meant the world to me. So happy New Year to you and your father and your family. And I will just say this to you and everyone else listening. The last 2 games for the Sacramento Kings. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like Kings basketball. Oh, boy. And on that note, Ryan, happy New Year to you and yours, my friend. Thank you very much for everything you've done for me. And we got the donations are still coming in. Thomas, thank you very much. The $19.99 and Super Chat. We greatly appreciate that. So thank you, Ryan. Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to your wife and your son and your loved ones. And we appreciate you.
Thank you, Grant, and Happy New Year to you and your loved ones as well, and everybody out there. Make it a happy and safe end to 2022, and we can't wait to see you in 23. Good night, Grant.
Good night, Ryan. Appreciate that. And I will just close by once again thanking you all so much for being with me on my podcast, my rants, my Listen app shows right here on YouTube. Man, you know what? And I miss talking to you every day, but if you are new here, I'm on Listen app. It's easy to download on any of your devices, and it's just like a radio show. I have people call in. It's back and forth, and it's easy to download. I'm on every day at 4 o'clock Pacific. All right? Just check out Listen app. All right? And again, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for all of your messages. I love you too, all the fans. So one thing I've always talked about, the bond that I have with the fans and you, that's never, ever, ever, ever going to go away. Once again, for the last time, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.